Y'all, it's Jessica from Sloppy Swatches. Today I have a look at the brand new Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Insta-Dri collaboration collection. I have partnered up with Sally Hansen to share these with you, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you they are fabulous. So I'll go ahead and get right into the swatches. At the end of this video, I will also have a really quick and easy nail tutorial, so stay tuned for that. So first up is the Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Instant Dry Polish in the shade Coconut. This is number 621. This is a gorgeous, just barely off-white cream polish. Really fantastic formula, and I think this is going to be a really great, just clean nail art look by itself, or also really great for nail art. So here's a look at that first easy coat. This one does go on really smooth and creamy. It has almost a little bit of a translucent feel to it while also bringing the opacity. Really gorgeous polish. I am going to go ahead and build this up with a quick second coat, and 2 coats. It does bring this polish completely opaque. These are a little bit on the thinner side, so I would recommend going in with thinner coats, but that's all you need really. So 2 coats it does make for complete opacity. So here's a look at that completed mani at 2 coats, and you can see there the natural glossy finish that these polishes dry down to without a top coat. Super impressed, and again, this is my final swatch photo. Next up is the Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Instant Dry Collection Polish in the shade Buttered Popcorn. This is a standout for me in this collection. It does have a gorgeous kind of ivory crelly base with a ton of different size and shapes gold glitter. This one is stunning on the nail. I'm going to go ahead and show you how it builds up for me. This first coat was a little bit sheer. I kind of like that milky vibe though on the nail. I think this would be great again for nail art. I did get a good amount of glitter, but I am going to go ahead and go in for a second coat. 2 coats definitely adds more glitter to the nail and gives it that gorgeous milky crelly vibe. At 2 coats, I did still have some visible nail lines. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry down and then show you how it built up for me with a third and final coat. That is how I prefer this polish, and the finish is gorgeous. Even though it has a ton of those larger gold glitters, not a ton of texture going on in the nail, and it does dry down gorgeously all on its own. So here is a look at that completed mani at just 3 coats underneath my artificial lighting. Super, super beautiful, and I am going to feature this in my nail art at the end. And then this is my final swatch photo at an angle underneath that same artificial lighting. So next up is the Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Instant Dry Collection Polish in the shade Peach. So this one is in a beautiful milky orange base with a ton of different size and shaped red glitters. So beautiful, really unique mix for sure. I'm going to go ahead and show you how it's swatched today for me on my natural nail. So here's a look at that first easy coat. I did go in a little bit thicker with this coat, but I was really happy with the formula. It's not too thin. It's not going to pull on you or anything like that. So I did get a fair amount of coverage as well as glitter there in that first coat, but I am going to go ahead and complete this with a second coat. I did go in a little bit thicker here for the second coat, but this polish is completely and easily opaque in just 2. So here's a look at that completed mani at just 2 coats underneath my artificial lighting. Really impressed with the Sally Hansen Crellies. And then this is my final swatch photo. So next up is the Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Instant Dry Collection Polish in the shade Very Cherry. You guys know I love a red, and this is a beautiful bold one. I am wearing it in all of my stills here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how this swatched today for me on my natural nail. This one is bringing the pigment. So in one smooth and easy coat, this is super, super close to being completely opaque in just one. I did have just like the barest hint of a visible nail line, so I'm going to go ahead and complete this look today with just one more easy coat. 2 coats it does for sure bring this polish completely opaque, and I have absolutely no complaints. This is a gorgeous, bright, and vivid, sexy red. So here's a look at that completed mani at just 2 coats underneath my artificial lighting, and then this is my final swatch photo at an angle under that same lighting. So next up, and another Corelli for you guys, is the Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Instant Dry Collection Polish in the shade Strawberry Cheesecake. So this is in a very light pink base with a ton of darker pink glitters in all sorts of different sizes and shapes. I'm going to go ahead and show you how this builds up for today on my natural nail. This is a gorgeous curly polish again, so this first coat adds a nice wash of a milky color as well as some glitters. It's not completely opaque though, so I'm going to go ahead and build that up with a second coat. 2 coats is going to add more of that milky crelly vibe to the nail as well as glitters. However, I did still have a good amount of visible nail line. I think this polish is going to be down to personal preference, whether you prefer it at 2 or 3 coats. However, I did opt to go in for that third coat, and it does bring this polish completely opaque, and I do believe the color payoff is worth it. So this is my final swatch photo at an angle underneath that artificial lighting at 3 coats. So next up is the Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Instant Dry Collection Polish in the shade Bubblegum. This one could not be more true to its name if it tried. So this is a gorgeous bubblegum pink cream polish. I really think the Insta-Dri line makes phenomenal creams pretty much across the board, but I'm really, really pleased with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how it's swatched today for me on my natural nail. So that first coat, again, super close to being just a one and done polish. I did have a little bit of visible nail line, so I am going to go ahead and complete that with a second coat, and it does bring this polish completely opaque with no issues and a gorgeous glossy finish. So here's a look at that completed mani, again at just two coats underneath my artificial lighting. This is so girly and like perfect for spring. I could not love this polish more. So this is my final swatch photo at an angle underneath that same lighting. So next up is the Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Instant Dry Collection Polish in the shade Tutti Frutti. This is the last Crelly of the collection, and I think one of the most fun. So this one has a rainbow assortment of different size and shape glitters in a very light lavender Crelly base. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you how this swatched today on my natural nail. So that first coat does make a gorgeous wash of color, and I did get a good assortment of size and colored glitters onto the nail. I did have to do a little bit of selective brushing just to get them spread out exactly where I wanted to, but no fishing or anything like that at all. Going in for the second coat with this polish does add a ton more of those glitters as well as that really cool milky vibe onto the nail. However, I did still have some visible nail line, so I am going to complete this look today with a third and final coat. I think 3 coats is where it's at for these. It's going to add the most bang for your buck in terms of glitters and opacity and color payoff, and it's really no problem to go in for that third look. So here is a look at that completed mani at 3 coats underneath my artificial lighting, and then this is my final swatch photo at an angle under that same artificial lighting. So next we're going to go back into the cream. So this is the Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Instant Dry Collection Polish in the shade Island Punch. So this is a very soft lavender. It does have a little bit of gray tones in there as well. Again, a really phenomenal cream formula. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you today how this swatched on my natural nail. So one coat did make for awesome coverage. I just have barely a hint of visible nail line, so I am going to go ahead and complete this look really quick with a second coat. 2 coats for sure does bring this polish completely opaque with no issues, no hassles or anything. It's just bringing that vivid, playful, fun color. So I think that this would be right on the edge of being a work appropriate nude while still being fun. It kind of pushes the boundaries both ways there. So here's a look at that completed mani at just 2 coats underneath my artificial lighting. And then this is my final swatch photo at an angle under that same lighting. So moving on, I'm having really a huge love affair with this next polish. So this is the Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Instant Dry Collection Polish in the shade Blueberry. Now I think Sally Hansen might as well be famous for their blues. I think they really do a great blue formula. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how this swatched today for me on my natural nail. For this polish particularly, I would say as long as you're being careful and maybe going in a little bit thicker, this could totally just be a 1 coat polish. I did have just a very minimal amount of streaking and visible nail line towards my tip, so I am going to go ahead and complete this look today with a second coat. 2 coats for sure does bring this polish completely opaque. I didn't have any staining either. I know this is like a very impactful and vivid blue, but even swatching on my natural naked nail, I didn't have any issues that way. So this is my final swatch photo at an angle underneath my artificial lighting at 2 coats, and then we're going to move on to another gorgeous blue. So this is Sally Hansen's Jelly Belly Instant Drop Collection Polish in the shade Berry Blue. So a little bit lighter than the other, just as gorgeous. This is more of a sky blue. So I'm going to go ahead and show you today how this swatched on my natural nail. So here is a look at that first easy coat. It's no surprise really that this polish goes on nice and creamy, really great formula for a cream polish. Super close to being completely opaque in one. However, I do have a little bit of visible nail lines. So I'm going to go ahead and complete this look today with a quick second coat. 2 coats does completely cover any nail liner issues and does make for a gorgeous finish. So here's a look at that completed mani at 2 coats underneath my artificial lighting. And then this is my final swatch photo at an angle under that same artificial lighting. Definitely a winner for sure. Rounding out the collection today, I have Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Instant Dry Collection Polish in the shade Green Apple. So they did give us a gorgeous green for spring. This one is a little bit cool toned and super, super flattering on the nail. I'm going to go ahead and show you how this swatched today for me on my natural nail. So here's a look at that first easy coat. Again, like, I'm so sorry, but this is super, super close to being just a one coat polish. I did opt to go in for a quick second coat just to make sure I'm hiding any visible nail line and to really get this as close to my sidewalls as possible, as you can see there. So 2 coats, again, for sure, complete coverage, no issues at all, no staining or dullness. So just a really beautiful finish for spring. So here's a look at that completed mani at just 2 coats underneath of my artificial lighting. And then this is my final swatch photo at an angle under that same lighting. So I did want to share a really quick and easy nail art look with you today. This is kind of like I was inspired by like the classic like a red bucket filled with popcorn. However, it got a little bit superhero-y on me, which I completely appreciate as well. So I did start with 3 coats of the Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Insta-Dri Collection Polish in the shade of Butter Popcorn. So I am going to use this as my base today. I'm going in with a free-handed V French tip using the Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Insta-Dri Collection Polish in the shade Very Cherry. I did have to do a little bit of cleanup there with acetone and a cleanup brush. This polish is super, super pigmented, so be careful during your cleanup. Next, I'm going in with a very fine detail brush and some of the Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Insta-Dri Collection Polish in the shade Coconut to add just a thin white stripe. I think this detail really adds something special to this look while still referencing like the white stripes on the red classic popcorn bucket. I think it just adds a little bit more depth and definitely worth taking that time. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out that line, make sure it's a little bit even on both sides. For a small detail brush, you can totally cut bristles off of whatever brush you have handy just to use that. So here is a look at that completed mani. I'm really kind of digging this. I did the same pattern across all of my nails. And then here is a quick view from the outside shot in direct sunlight. Even more beautiful outdoors, if I do say so myself. So that does wrap up my swatch and review of the Sally Hansen Jelly Belly Instant Dry Polish collection. I'll go ahead and link it down below where you can shop these polishes. A big, huge thank you to Sally Hansen for letting me share these with you guys. If you'd like, please let me know down below which color or flavor that you're more looking forward to getting into your own collection. If you'd like to see more, you can also follow me on Instagram at Sloppy Swatches. So thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time.